Let's talk a minute about sanders. Sanders. Dual action, I guess they call them. Used to be orbitals. Used to call them an orbital sander back, what do they say, back when it wore a younger man's clothes. So I'll show you a little bit on here with how useful, I guess, a sander can be in the right, used in the right fashion, I suppose. What we got going on here that I'm going to demonstrate is this is the old 67 Dodge Dart. This was a vinyl top car, vinyl roof over it. So these little spots that you see chump, the filler work that I've done here, that I didn't bother showing you, because if I had showed you what I'd done to this, I mean, this would be so boring that you'd already clicked off and went to the 27-year-old girl with the big boobs Zarewskis talking about how she changes the oil on her Jeep TJ. Whatever. So what I've done here is all these spots, they were a little hunk of surface rust that was from being trapped underneath the vinyl. Whether it was a little hunk of shit under the vinyl, whether it was, I don't know, bird shit on the vinyl, but I don't know. It was a little hunk of surface rust, all right? I didn't put it there, it was just there. I just fixed it. So what I've done, you don't want to sandblast a roof, because if you sandblast a roof, well, you might as well make a convertible out of it. So I took this little grinder here, with a little wheel, I don't know what the hell, it's about that thick. And I ground it out. When you're doing that, pay attention to it, because your surface rust starts brown and it'll turn black. If you're doing that and you're trying to a little bit of surface rust out of here, out of there, off the quarter, wherever you're trying to grind surface rust off, if it still has color, if you think you're done, you're nice and silver with a little black dot, that little black dot's rust. That's all there is to it. There's no, I mean, you want, they call it white steel. You want it cleaned right out of there, as best as you can. As best as you can, meaning get it right the hell out of there. So anyways, that's what I've done. Like I said, didn't show you that because you'd be watching a pair of knockers changing oil in your Jeep by now. So, what I got for a sander. This is what I got for a sander. This is a, what the hell is this? This is called the Dynabrade. There's 1,000 different sanders out there. Palm sander, I guess a lot of them would call it. It's pretty lightweight. The biggest difference in these kind of sanders that you're going to find, depending on where you buy them, usually is going to be price. You can spend $65 on one, or you can spend $465 on one. The biggest difference is going to be that the $65 one is probably going to work really well for you for about 45 minutes. The $465 one is probably going to work really well for you for about 20 years. This particular one, I don't know, I got it on sale. It's probably just about 200 bucks, and I would guess that I've had this for probably going on 11 years now. I've been using this same sander. A lot of the sanders, if you really look at the description of the sander, it will give you a pattern measurement. And what that means is this little guy here, it spins, but it also moves, they call it in an orbital fashion. So I guess the easiest way to explain it is if you stuck a pencil lead in there, hit the trigger and held it on the surface, it would make a little circle. See what I'm saying? So that little circle, that's the action measurement, I don't know what the hell they call it, but they do rate them. And the bigger the number, 1 point whatever millimeters, that's how big around that circle is going to be. 4 millimeters, that's a big circle. Years and years ago, you couldn't get sanders this fine. You had the ones that had the big handle on it and the big chrome lever, and it sounds like a pair of 490-pound butt cheeks after a colonoscopy. That'd be pleasant, wouldn't it? So anyways, what I'm going to demonstrate here is how for, come here, you son of a bitch. Come on, give it. And anyways, yeah, you can, and it's small enough and light enough. You can use it like a block, essentially, is what I'm getting at. So areas like this, I got some 80 grit on here. You go back and forth like a block. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I should be wearing a mask right now. I'm not wearing a mask right now because I'm talking to you. And if I was wearing a mask, then it'd be, I'd sound like Kenny or Charlie Brown's teacher or something. And I mean, if you wanted to watch Kenny, you'd be watching South Park. Or the big blues changing oil on her Jeep. So you keep it moving. Now, I'm not sure if you can see, but you can see a couple of little dots there. Now those are the tips that I filled. So when you get her down pretty good, then I'll go for a block and I'll finish off with a block. I like to use these blocks. You probably see them in stores. They're not very much money. They're orange, just about always, and plastic. I have had this one, I think, for probably just about 30 years, and it's an original. That's where they all started, a Kopp block, and it's called a Handschleifer. It's German, Bavarian. What is it? It's made in Germany. That's German, Handschleifer. So you take your Handschleifer, and you finish her off. So if you get her pretty close with your sander, as you can see, that's about it. We're there, right? 2 strokes. You're there. Again, it's because of the action of the sander. Okay? Nice fine action, so it's really controllable what you're doing with it. If you want to strip paint off of a hood or off of a trunk lid or something, you don't want to use one of these because, I mean, you're going to be putting candles on a cake by the time you get her stripped off. Okay, you just keep it moving back and forth, and it's like blocking. Watch what you're doing. Did I say it's like blocking it? It's like blocking. And in a lot of stuff, so I'm down in those spots to where I'm ready to give her the Handschleifer. I mean, that would have taken 300 strokes with a block to get her down that far. This has got some 80 beans on it. My Handschleifer there's got some 120 on it. Now in these sanders, you can get different pads. You can get, quiet you. Hard pads, medium pads. This pad here, I'll demonstrate, is a fairly soft pad. See, like it's, can you see how it's foam? See what I'm saying there? Flat surfaces, a hard pad is fine. I still have this pad on here because the cowl panel and other panels where I've used this to initiate the body work, they've got a good curve into them. So if you take a hard pad on your sander and you try to, here just a sec, I don't know if you can see what I'm talking about. Let me point you at what I'm talking about here. There, hey, see that there? That's what we're talking about. So there's a good curve here. It's like, you know, if you were this big, you could ride your skateboard up and down there. Anyways, so in an instance like this where it's curved, your soft pad on your sander, you can put it there and it's going to compress. Whereas if it was a hard pad, I mean, it's just going to dig into there like a chainsaw. And if you're doing work on your filler, like I don't know if you can see that, that's I've done the glass work. Remember when we melted the lead out? And I used this to do the majority of that. But that's where the soft pad comes in, is for contours. I'll also use a soft, can you see me? I'll also use a soft pad when I'm sanding, like doing finish sand work, or if I'm blending some panels on something and you sand the clear out in say some 600 or 800 grit, I'll use a soft pad for that because the hard pad's not going to grab, the hard pad will grab the edges, whereas the soft pad will not grab the edges as much. But anyways, that's, you can't see me again, can you? Oh, you could have seen me. Well, whatever. Anyways, That's what I thought we'd cover. I wouldn't get into doing a lot of, if you're doing a big panel like this and in your primer work, I wouldn't. Small areas is what you're doing with this. An area that the pad covers, that's what makes it like a block. Because the pads, I mean, like I did this, I roughed it out with this thing, and some bigger areas I'll do my initial with this and some rough paper on it, but then I always go to a block or a board. I guess that's about all I can cover as far as sanders go. Like I said, there's if you're not going to be using it a whole bunch, don't invest a whole bunch of money in one. Get a cheaper one, and then the more you use it, it'll pay for itself, and then you can invest in a better one after that if you're going to be using it a lot. Like I said, I've had that guy for probably about 12 years now, and I use it quite a bit. Oil it up a little bit. I've put quite a few pads on it. Just don't beat the shit out of it, and don't back over it with your truck, and don't use it as a hammer, and they'll last you for quite a while. But anyways, maybe that helps you. It'd be good if it helped you. I guess that's about it. Sanders. Gotta love them. See ya. Cut.